Not gonna lie, winter in the Northern Hemisphere can make it kind of tough to be a flow artist. The weather gets cold, the days are short, and going outside to flow takes a lot of preparation and is frequently, well, kind of uncomfortable. But that is no reason to put down the props for the winter. Today, I'm going to share with you my best tips for keeping your practice and flow going even when the weather outside is frightful. Drex here from Drexfactor Poi, bringing you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, we're going to talk about what you're going to need to know in order to keep spinning when it's cold out. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow DNA, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I've got down in the description of this video. So, straight up, a lot of people don't mind the cold. I am not one of them. My mom's side of the family came to this country from above the Arctic Circle, and somehow literally none of the genetics for dealing with that got passed on to me. For the most part, winter means spinning indoors, and for me at least, that means changing some elements of what I practice and how I flow. I don't have as much room as I'd like to run and jump around as I'm spinning, so I can imagine that a lot of you out there are in the same boat. But that shouldn't bring the flow to an end. There are plenty of ways that we can adapt our spinning to work in a limited space. Your bedroom, your living room, heck, I used to practice in the garage at one point. So here are the 5 things that I find myself doing most commonly in order to adapt to smaller spaces when it's cold out. And hopefully something that I mention here will also be a great fit for you. Tip number 5, clear your area. The biggest concern in any area that you're going to be spinning in is what you're likely to hit with the poi. Remove anything that might be delicate or is going to be a problem if you damage it. Frequently, this means moving plates and glasses to the kitchen and putting them to wash, covering up sensitive electronics such as TVs or stereo speakers, and, if you can, remove any items of furniture from a space to give yourself more room. I know it's a pain, and that the more things that you have to do before you start spinning means that it's less likely that you're going to do it. But think of this as being part of your ritual in order to start spinning. That might make it easier. Plus, which should be said, cleaning up broken glass is going to interrupt your spinning a lot more than having to clean up a space before you start will. An ounce of prevention and all that. Tip number 4, shorten your poi. So I know that a lot of people are partial to poi that are quite long, in some cases able to touch the ground while they're standing. And that's all well and good when you've got all the room in the world to work with, but when you're inside, that almost guarantees that you'll hit something or that it'll get hung up on a wall or the ceiling. And that's why one of the best things that you can do is shorten up your poi as you're using them. It'll make your planes a little bit more squirrely and the poi will spin slightly faster, but having to make those adjustments is definitely better than breaking something or not being able to spin at all. A couple easy ways of doing this. For one, you can shift your grip so that you're holding the tether and anchoring the handle at the butt of your hand. That'll give you a couple inches and still make it easy to release the tether if you want to. Alternatively, you can wrap the tether around your hand. I usually wrap it around my index and middle fingers, and it'll choke up several inches. You can also wrap it around your entire hand to pull up even more length. Spinning poi this short will also make your stalls super clean and make plane breaking a breeze. Believe it or not, there are actually stylistic reasons why this can be a good idea. And that, dear friends, brings us to tip number 3, adjust your style. I know. You want to go explore any corner of the poi world that you want, and it sucks to have to put down that toss combo you've been working on for weeks until it gets warmer. But you know what? Sometimes switching up your style can also make you a better spinner. Sure, lots of people are playing with a variety of tosses and poi juggling right now, but there's also really innovative work being done with plane breaks and horizontal plane stuff right now. There's a whole lot of things that you can explore in smaller spaces. Things that you might want to avoid in indoor spaces include poi juggling, a lot of in-spin throws, high volume tricks like extensions, and anything acrobatic. But come on, Drex, what does that even leave me to play with? Well, here are some suggestions. They're considered a bit passé at this point, but barrel rolls and inversions are a kind of classic poi tech that hasn't really been explored in a modern context. Maybe a few months indoors is a great time to do that. By the same token, tangles enjoyed something of a renaissance just a few years ago. Do you know the difference between your knots and your twists? How to do ollies and butterfloops? These tricks are perfect for limited spaces. And of course, one of my personal favorites right now, gunslingers. When the poi is half the length, the performer takes up a lot less room. Hey, I don't make up the rules. Want more suggestions on tricks that you can learn in small spaces? Leave me a comment and let me know. I can definitely see that being the topic of its own video. Tip number 2, keep your arms down. So I've got to admit, this one really hurts me deep inside, but at the same time, it's kind of unavoidable. I love being outside and really reaching for that full volume above my head, but it's just not available when you're spinning inside. And it's actually really a challenge, specifically for me, because I'm 6 feet tall, or about 183 centimeters. My ceiling is only 8 feet, so my vertical in my apartment is quite severely limited. So whenever I flow or record videos in this space, I kind of have to make sure that my hands never go above eye level. And I'm not always successful at this. My ceiling definitely has a lot of scuff marks on it, but I do the best I can. I feel like keeping your arms down as you spin flowers and hybrid patterns can frequently lead to bad habits over time, so do make sure to explore that volume when you're back outside again. And you know what? Sometimes all else fails and you just have to. Tip number 1, get access to a big indoor space. So, this is going to come with so many caveats. As I'm recording this, we are still in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, and shall we say that access to large indoor spaces is both restricted as well as of questionable safety in many places. I just decided to bite the bullet and rent a local dance studio for a weekly practice, but I definitely did my research first in terms of what the studio's COVID precautions are. They require everybody who rents to wear a mask and sanitize their spaces once they're done. Many probably won't, but I know that I'll have access to cleaning supplies when I get there, so at least I can feel better about occupying that space. In normal times, it was common to ride out the winter months by renting out dance studios, spinning in gyms, or juggling in racquetball courts at a local health club. These are all super helpful, but again, check to see what precautions are in place for a given space that you might be spinning in, and if it is occupied by a lot of people you don't know, consider just waiting it out until things warm up. My own practice the next few months is going to focus on things that I can do in small spaces, but going to this dance studio once a week to really work on my poi dance in a space that's built for it. But if I hear of people coming in that are sick or getting infected, I'll just go back to my living room and wait it out. Don't gamble with this one, please. And if you are watching after the pandemic has been brought under control, and boy howdy, do I dearly hope that this sentence ages well, look up listings for your local dance studio, health club, or YMCA to find spaces to rent for the colder months. In the meantime, keep your flow going however you can. All that practice is important, even if it's not being done in the way that you're used to. Also, just to put it out there, it's Black History Month here in the United States, and I'm using it as an opportunity to read up on the work of some of our most talented Black authors. Right now, I'm in the middle of reading How to Be Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, which I strongly recommend, and I'll leave a link down in the description for you to check out a copy for yourself. Did you get anything out of this video? Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help other people find this video and, of course, to help my channel grow. And I also just wanted to put out a huge thank you because this video would not be possible without the kind contributions of these wonderful folks right here. These are my Flow patrons on Patreon, and they, along with the wonderful folks listed down in the description, make this video and all the videos on my channel possible. If you'd like to help me out in my mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the wider world and help people learn to be creative with their bodies, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. You can get early access to all of my content, a say in what topics I tackle in the future, plus some behind the scenes and extra content as well. So go check that out. Please and thank you. How are you navigating the colder months with your flow? Do you have access to a good indoor space to spin in? Are you just breaking things and sorting it out later? Let me know how you're dealing with the cabin fever down in the comments. Make sure to flow just a little while today. It is good for your body and it's good for your brain, especially when you're spending so much time indoors. Be on the lookout for a new combo tutorial on Friday, and I will see you soon. Peace.